I really want to see what Chaz is going to do within the
I do
next
too.
day or two.
The math ain't mathin'.
Kiss with Phoebe, you know, that kind of ruled things out for me and Phoebe. And, you know, I really want to continue to go on this journey with you. And, you know, I have.
You couldn't make this up even if you tried. You couldn't make this up if you tried. And I think of all the things that Serenity said Chaz did to her or how she felt about him during her time in the villa as a couple, I think nothing could have prepared us for this. But hey, it's nice to see the Islanders have that aha moment and realize that what he says and what he does are two totally different things. And it vindicates Serenity for all the claims she made about him during her time with him in a couple. Anyway, Heather, it's your girl Valerie again. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island USA, Season 4, Episode 26. So in this episode, obviously to follow up from the recoupling last night, and the Islanders find out that the new guy coming in, and he's a 28-year-old guy, Joel, and he is good looking. You can't knock him for that. But I am surprised with the sudden turn of events because when everyone else was in the bottom, they were just sent home, and suddenly a new guy is being brought in. There, it's already overcrowded in the villa, so I don't know where they were planning on putting him in. And I think they only brought him in so that they could kick out someone. And I think he slept in Kat's bed because Kat was sleeping with Jared on the beds outside. Oh God, it's such a mess. Anyway, I'll discuss the Mary Pie Snog game, and then we'll discuss the couples and see how we go. So, with the Mary Pie Snog game, I think it was to be expected. There were no surprises in who people were going to propose to. I think bar Sydney, who decided to propose to Jesse because she felt he was very respectful to Debbie during Casa Amor. So that wasn't shocking. And she's not happy with Isaiah. So I think she wanted to make a point of that and she actually pied him, which was funny. And Deb, it was to be expected because of how Jesse was heartbroken when he came back and he found out a couple with Kyle, and the fact that Jesse, all he spoke about during Casa Amor was Deb. So it was to be expected that the guys, his friends, were going to pie her, and Timmy was the first one to start off with it. So, and I like the fact that she took it like a champ. She didn't cry, she didn't say anything. She just, stood there and took the pies to the face. Jesse obviously felt some type of way and said, I'm happy the guys are standing up for me, but I wish I could have taken some of the pies for her because it's a bit too much. But hey, it is what it is. Isaiah was going to get pied more than anyone else for the boys because of how he brought Phoebe from Casamo, so that was no surprise. Surprisingly, Jeff pied Phoebe, and it was like, but you were the one who was saying to Isaiah, explore other opportunities. Why are you pieing the person you are advising to explore with? But then, given how messy she's been since she's been in the villa, and I think how close Jeff is with Sydney, I think this is why he pied her. Kat can't miss an opportunity to embarrass Chaz, and I'm so here for it. She pied Chaz because she felt, he was telling all the girls the same thing. I think she had heard the girls confide that, Chaz keeps coming to me and says this and then goes to somebody else and says the same thing. And Chaz, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know him. I can't say anything. All I can say is he should have manned up. He should have just taken his pies to the face quietly instead of trying to justify, oh, but when you came into the villa, I was very nice to you, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to hear that. Just take your pies to your face, young man, and smile and move on. And Joel is messy as well. Joel stated that, he had established a connection with Bella and he had kissed Bella. And this is before Chaz knew about it. And Chaz was, oh, I feel betrayed. And it's like, you're the last person to feel betrayed. You betrayed Serenity. You embarrassed Serenity. Anything that comes after that, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You haven't been an amazing partner. You took Gabby to the hideaway and then took Bella back to the villa with you, then decided to start exploring a connection with Phoebe. You have no right to claim that you've been embarrassed, you've been blindsided, you've been embarrassed, you've been whatever. You have no one wants to hear it because you have outdone anything else, anything anybody else could have said about you. But then anyway, I digress. So with the couples, Jesse and Deb, I think Jesse and Deb are in a better place. Jesse and Deb were saved by the audience, so they were in the top four couples. And I think they've had those the most growth throughout the season because from where they started, Debbie was more into Jessie than Jessie was into her. But I think with Valerie coming in and with Kyle, I think they've both realized that they really like each other and they would rather explore their connection than to try and sort of fiddle around with anybody else. And I hope with the new girl coming in, I don't see Jessie's head turning. I think Jessie's now set on Deb. I think Deb as well after the whole Kyle debacle, her head is set. So I can see them going all the way through to the end if they do get to the end. Zita and Timmy. Zita and Timmy seem happy. They were saved by the audience as well. And I like the fact that Zita's got very good gameplay. Zita will always establish a connection with anyone that comes into the villa. And I think this is where when she was vulnerable, everybody kept her because they have a connection with her. Although my heart broke for her when Courtney was in the bottom four, she was in the bottom six, and Timmy had to sort of step up and sort of comfort Zeta. And it's nice to see that they're not only establishing romantic connection, but they're also establishing friendships. And so Timmy and Zeta, I don't see any drama with them. Zeta did sort of speak to Joel for a bit. I think she just wanted to touch base with him. Otherwise, she's fine. And then Naja and Jeff, sorry. Naja and Jeff. I think Jeff is now set on Naja, but I'm not sure how set Naja is on him. Although I like the fact that when Joel called her, because she was the first person Joel spoke to, and she told Joel that, I'm in this connection with Jeff and I really am happy and I that's where I want to stay. And I have to commend Joel for respecting that, for respecting Nadia, and sort of realizing that okay, she's got a strong connection with Jeff. Let me leave that alone and try and explore with other people. So that made me happy. And they were saved by the public vote as well, so that was good. And I think they, they just as Jeff said, my yin yang. It's just my yin to my yang. They understand each other. They like each other. That's the important bit. Um, I'm surprised. I'm not. I was initially surprised that Isaiah was saved by the audience with Phoebe, but then I realized that Isaiah's got his own fan base and Sydney's got her own fan base, and I think both fan bases didn't want Isaiah to go home because they want him to still recouple with Sydney. I think this is why they kept him in, which is good, and he's really grafting Sydney. He's really working hard for Sydney because Sydney, um, though she says, she is upset and she's going to make him work. I think Sydney should have tried to explore things with somebody else before she recoupled with Isaiah, just to make him sweat a bit, just to make him sweat. Otherwise, he's going to get relaxed again, and his head is going to turn, and he's going to go and explore things with somebody else. But hopefully, they can come back from that. Sydney was not vulnerable, so because she's single, she wasn't up for the public vote, which was good for her. And then Kat, Chance, and Jared. Hmm. Poor, poor Chance. She never stood a chance, really, because I think the moment Kat expressed interest in Jared, Jared's head was turned, and he never looked back to see where he left Chance. And so this is why I think he was able to establish the connection with Kat, and I, I truly want to believe that they do have a strong connection that can survive in the real world. But I hope Kat is not using Jared so that she gets publicity because I think she's looked around and she's realized that no, she doesn't like anybody else in the villa. So if Jared is leaving, then she's leaving. Jared obviously has been eliminated from the villa with Chance because he was in the bottom four with Chaz and Bella. And on her part, Kat decided to leave the villa because she said, she had found what she came looking for. I really want to believe that. I hope she's not using him just for the publicity of being linked to him and that she actually really likes him. And um, so Chance going home. We really didn't see her speak to anyone apart from when Bella was confiding in her about the case with Joel. Bella was in a coupling with Chaz. Chaz played himself. Chaz played himself because I think he should never have even attempted to explore things with Phoebe, but because he was weak and Phoebe knew she could overpower him, she then decided to try and explore things with Phoebe. And while he was doing that, Joel swooped in and was able to establish a connection with Bella, kiss Bella, and I don't know. I thought the producers, once Kat said she wanted to stay, she was living with Jared. I thought they would say, okay, Bella stay, but or Chance, but no, they're both going home. So it is what it is. I Chaz has played himself. The longer he stayed in the villa, the more he's exposed himself. And I think everybody in the villa now knew who he was and they didn't like what they saw because you could see by the faces they were making that they didn't like the way he was treating the girls. And they called him out on how he kept moving from girl to girl. So I don't know how long, he would have lasted had he not been eliminated by the audience. I think if he was up for public voting, the islanders themselves would have ended up voting him out because they would have been fed up with how he was playing around with the girls. But hey, that's me. Courtney is with Chad, and I think Chad is too. Chad's gameplay is to pretend to be quiet. That's my opinion. He pretends to be this Zen guy and wants people to sort of come to him and whatever. And I think this is how he was able to convince Courtney and Kat to sort of try and pursue him. And now I didn't get how out of the blue Phoebe would just straddle him during the game and kiss him. I think he's given an opening. And Zita on her part said she could see game and she knew that something was up because of the way that Chad and Phoebe have been behaving. Sadly, I hope Courtney is not blind to this because she just said, "Oh, that's hot." I hope she's actually looking around for who she can establish a connection with. I think her only other choice is to go after Joel. I don't know whether Joel will be interested in her, but I wish she could try and explore things with Joel before Chad blindsides her and then she ends up going home. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Um. Anyway. Phoebe. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. She just wants publicity and that's it. She's just after publicity, as much publicity as she can get, and once she gets that, she's happy and she can go home and continue with whatever she was doing. Could I say I was surprised with the bottom six? No, not really, because obviously Zita and Timmy have a large following. Jeff and Deb, especially after they've come back, have a large following. A lot of people like Jeff, even if they might not like Naja, they still like Jeff. And Sydney and Isaiah have a large following, so I wasn't surprised about those. So Courtney could never have stood a chance on her own to sort of gain enough popularity to sort of save herself. I think this is why I'm saying she needs to try and establish a connection with Joel because those top four couples, it's now too late for her to try and explore anything with any one of them. And then so Courtney, Chaz, and Bella, Chance, and Jared were in the bottom six, and Zita was heartbroken. I think she was worried that Courtney's going home because she's always seemed to be very tight with Serenity and Courtney, and I think if Courtney had gone home, she would have been heartbroken because that would have left her alone. Yes, she's got friendships with the other girls, but I don't think they're as close as they are with the other two that I've mentioned. So Courtney was saved by the audience. She cried. She was upset about that. It was to be expected. And as I said, I was surprised that Kat stood up and said she's going home. I know Nadia tried to stop her, but I was actually surprised. I hope she's as genuine as she makes out. Really, I wish them all the best. But anyway, I digress. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.